All right, Jackie, Jackie, welcome to the Career and People podcast. Thanks for being on.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's
All
always a
right, here we
pleasure.
go. Yes, for sure. So in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yes, I am Jackie Hermes, the CEO of Accelity. We help B2B software companies get to revenue and grow faster. And then I'm also a co-founder of Women's Entrepreneurship Week, which is an event series geared toward female founders and professionals to help network and develop themselves, which has been very interesting during these times running an events company.
Yes, I can't wait to see what you guys do virtually this fall, though. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, me too.
All right, awesome. What's the best thing about working with people or establishing a culture?
It's an interesting journey, and it's kind of like you're figuring something new out every day. I think that I really like the challenge of it, which isn't always what you think of in developing a culture, but like figuring out how people operate is probably one of my favorite things to do. How they think, how they like to work together. I always wonder what's going on behind the eyes, and what the team's thinking when we do certain things.
I know, I love that parallel between leadership and parenting, where it's just like, what's going on with these other humans that I'm relating to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. All right. I'm hearing from other people leaders that engaging your employees is a challenge. What are your thoughts?
It definitely is. I mean, we have made video required for all of our internal meetings, which makes it better. And I think that we're having a lot more, like when I meet with my team members, we're having a lot more like personal conversation on meetings. And it's interesting because a lot of us are like really time efficient people. And so I think for some people, it feels like a waste of time to do that, but it's necessary now, right? I'm actually learning more about members of my team than I was before, just getting on these like really informal conversations. But we found that like the structured team building type stuff isn't necessarily working right now for us. Like we were hosting a weekly happy hour and no one was coming because, it's like 3 p.m. on Friday and everyone's like, see ya, like now we have this work life kind of, I don't want to say balance, but it's like it's more intertwined now. And I think people want to leave the office. So we're kind of still looking for our solution on that.
No, I love that. And the number one reason for burnout has moved to the blurred lines of work and home. So it's good for you to sort of maybe set aside that formal and move to the informal, whatever works for them right now, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of just doing it. I have a small team, so I have the blessing to be able to do it on a one-on-one basis, however people want to. So I've met some team members for coffee that are comfortable, like a distance coffee. Some were just chatting via video. So I don't know, I'm kind of just playing it by ear.
Love it. Love it. All right. What advice would you share with other organizations or leaders trying to advance their people or culture strategy?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that this time right now has been an amazing opportunity to look at your business overall and understand what you really want to do versus what you have done. So we're changing a lot of the company to not only keep people engaged, but to keep us on the path that I want us to be on. So looking at that and not being afraid to say, the way that this is structured doesn't make sense. Or like we just today announced that a team member is moving into a new role internally because we decided that the role that he was in, we didn't really need that role as a company, but we really loved him as an employee and wanted to be able to move him somewhere else. I think a lot of people are afraid to have those conversations and make those moves, even if it's what's best for their company. But it can be a win-win for everyone, in my opinion.
Yeah, this times of change, if we don't move to more nimble behavior, we're going to get stuck in those old ways.
Agreed. And it's very easy to get there. I think I've always thought of myself as a very nimble person, nimble company. And then COVID hit and I was like, oh, we're kind of stuck in some things that we've always done. And I always thought that that wouldn't be me. So it's a good time to reflect and look at ourselves and how we're operating both personally and as a company.
Yeah, agree. Power in the pause, right?
Absolutely.
For sure. All right. What other people operations or culture leaders that are moving that needle would you like to acknowledge as a leader or maybe be invited as a guest on the podcast?
Amanda from Nuance is really helping us structure everything. Honestly, anytime I have a question, I text her, like, what should I be doing? She just she looks at things in a way that I don't, and understands people and structure and how to approach things with like your team or personal things, and just in a way that I never look at it. I'm a very like, direct kind of tactical, and she's more like how, like touchy feely, and I really need that balance. So I think she'd be an amazing perspective.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good feedback. I think we need to find that counterbalance for ourselves, right? Yeah. I have
I
somebody on my
always
team.
need to find, those people.
Yeah, I have somebody on my team like that where I'm like, all right, this is what I'm thinking. And it's usually like way out there. And she's like, come back down to reality world, right?
I
So
love that.
sometimes you need the opposite too with people, right? Like
Yeah,
the go, go,
absolutely.
go, charge, drive, and the softer side.
Yeah, well, it's figuring out what your strengths are and then surrounding yourself with the people that fill in those other areas so you have balance. I think a lot of people have a tendency to hire people that are like them, where if you can hire, for all of those different areas that are not your strengths or skill sets, then it makes for a more rounded team.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Last question. Tell us about your best experience working with people as a leader.
I've always thought of myself as not a great manager because I am not super emotional, and it's just like it's a story that I've had about myself in my head, and there are a few members of my team that have been working with me for a long time that have like talked about how much they've developed under my guidance, and I'm like, wait, I don't even feel like I've done anything. So it's cool for them to kind of force me to look back at like what we've done together and what we've accomplished. And the team really, all of them know the things that I'm bad at, and they kind of like get out there and force me to look at that stuff, which is really cool and eye-opening. And just like, if I were emotional, I might cry. Just kidding.
If I were.
Oh, wow. I'm totally kidding.
No, I think people leadership, just like we talked about before with parenting, can be, it's a mirror, right? You really learn a lot about yourself in that process of leading other people.
My God, I've seriously learned so much and have become just a really like introspective person that every action I look at myself and I'm like, why might I have done that? How could I have approached that better? And God, I was not there 5, even probably 3 years ago. So it's a great opportunity.
Time helps, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. How can people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Social media probably,
Okay.
or check out our website. So I'm on LinkedIn the most. I'm the Jackie Hermes on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So hit me up there.
All right. We will. Thanks for coming on the show, Jackie.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Bye, dear one.